Okay. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Please kindly unmute yourself and let me confirm if you can clearly hear me.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We can hear you. We can hear you now.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. So, how is work today?
Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God.
Fine.
I hope you guys didn't see the rain. It's only water that you saw.
There's no rain where I am, Sha.
From the
Oh,
sky.
there's no rain where you are.
There's no rain at all.
So we got enough water in Lagos today.
There's no rain in Owerri here.
Ah. We got enough water in Lagos State today. So you are all welcome to today's class. So today we're actually going to be dealing with. So we can now let's move to our speakers, please. Okay, thank you very much. So today we are dealing with facility condition assessment today. But just like what we did yesterday, before we go into today's class, we're going to have like 15 minutes real-time challenges that we're going to discuss. So I will entertain like 3 people to like share with us a real-life challenge that they are facing currently in terms of facility condition assessment. Then, so please kindly signify by raising up your hand. Then I'll call on you. You can unmute yourself. Then you tell us the real-time challenge you are currently facing. Okay. Mr. Oluwayomi Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel.
Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah.
You're also Emmanuel.
Yes, that's my name.
Okay.
For challenges, I'm not having challenge, but there's a particular thing I didn't understand that day, and I've been battling with it. So I don't know, maybe in the course of today's class, maybe you can still come back to it so I could understand it better, please.
You mean as regards last
Yes.
class? That was Wednesday class. What exactly is it? Let me know then.
Is the tagging, all the barcode tagging.
Okay.
So I need to know about that tagging of it. Once I just know, maybe I don't know how you can paraphrase that tagging. That's what I've been battling with. When I have that, I'm fine.
Tagging is just like assigning a unique code to your asset. That is what tagging is all about.
Okay, I didn't understand all those barcodes.
Those are the kind of tagging you can use. You understand? If you want to make them, if you want to like go into technological aspects of it, those are kind of technology tagging you can use. But you can still use manual tagging in the sense that, let me take an air condition for an example. If you have an air condition, you can, assuming that air condition is somewhere like Owerri.
Okay.
You can use a unique tagging code for it, where you use OW to stand for Owerri as a state.
Okay.
Then the location of that air condition in Owerri, maybe it is in Brass Street, you can use BR. So you have OW/BR/AC/0001. So you are talking about your air condition number 001, located in Brass Street in Owerri.
Okay. Okay.
Those are kind of a code that you can use. That is tagging. That is
those are manual.
Yes, those are manual. But you can still do it in automatic form. That if you've been to banks, or maybe you've been to all these supermarkets, you know, when you buy anything, the only thing they use is that they scan that tagging on that particular item. You know, those are examples of tagging. Then you can use a scan code. You know, most time when you want to type BRT, you can use your phone to scan.
Yeah, I've actually wondered how those supermarkets do it. Is it that, how did they do it on their product? That whenever you just buy, you know, for ShopRite, now you just scan.
Every product, even books nowadays, come with all those unique code. So what you just do is like use the scanner to scan that unique code.
Okay, that's fine.
So you can do the same thing for your asset as well. So when
okay,
you want to do asset auditing,
it will be time consuming.
No, it's not time consuming. So when you want to do asset auditing, you just go around that asset. Then you just use a scanner to scan it, then you pick it up.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And once you pick it up, it's going to your central record. Instead of you taking it one by one, entering it manually, with that scanner, you can get it done automatically.
Okay, I will work on that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. So I need somebody else again. It may not actually be on this facility condition assessment or modules we're having today. It could be on any facility store. So let me hear you guys out. Or you can let's share what we learned from the last class together. So let me welcome two people. Just signify by raising up your hand. Let me hear what you learned from the last class. Do you have anybody raising hand? Good afternoon, Madam Juliana.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam Juliana. So, what did you actually?
In a very noisy place, I may not be able to speak for the lecture.
Oh, okay. So let's allow you.
Yes, I think I'm in a very noisy environment right now. So
Okay, no problem. Yeah, Mrs. Abioye. So let me just believe that we can go ahead with today's class. Yes or no, please?
Yes, we can.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
we can, sir.
Okay. So let's have our speakers muted. So by 6 o'clock we have we're going to have a short break. So we'll come back after like 5 minutes break. Then we'll come back after to come and round up the whole thing. Then I will entertain question and answer at the end of the class. So for today's module, which we're going to discuss introduction about facility condition assessment, then we shall be dealing with what is the purpose, what is the reason why carrying out facility condition assessment is required. Then when you want to carry out facility condition assessment, what are the scope of doing that? Then what are the process that it's required? Then the level of facility condition assessment and facility performance evaluation. These are areas we shall be covering today in this module. So first introduction. What is facility condition assessment? During the last class, I chipped in some certain thing about this facility condition assessment. And that's the reason why I said when you are taking up a new facility as a facility manager, it is required of you, and it is very, very expedient that you do what we call facility condition assessment so as to avoid taking liability. And that will inform you, and you are going to gather a lot of vital information that you use to make a lot of good business decisions. So, and in line with this definition, the process of inspecting, there is going to be an inspection. The word inspection is underlined there. Each system in a building, and during the last class, I told us that in a building, you have several numbers of systems. You have the roofing system, you have your transportation system, and your transportation system, including your lift, your conveyors, your walkways. Those are your transportation system. You have your plumbing system, you have your electrical system, You have your communication system. So it's a process of inspecting each system in a building to understand. Your inspection will bring about what we call understanding. And what are you trying to understand? The condition of every asset within that facility. And it is during that your assessment that you'll be able to determine what are the deficiencies. You can easily determine what is the remaining useful life of that asset and what is the condition index of that particular asset. And assessment is not something that only one single person can carry that alone, because it requires a lot of professionalism. And that's why it is multidisciplinary review of various systems of a facility. Then it also allows you to provide recommendation regarding root cause of deterioration or failure. Carry out what we call a root cause analysis. So that will help you to determine what are the deterioration you are facing in that place and what are about to fail in that as far as that facility is concerned. Then it also helps you to provide a remedial action plan if that facility is actually due for demolition, or maybe those assets are due for an outright replacement, or you can carry what we call a revamp on there, or renovation, or you can do 1 or 2 repair work on them and bring them back to what? To your anesthetic look or to your requirement. It also helps you to produce capital replacement plan. You are able to determine if you have a budget that can take care of that, or you need to like postpone it to maybe next budgeting year, or possibly instead of doing an outright replacement, you can carry out what we call a repair on those capital on those assets. So you'll be able to determine if you can still like, if it's something that you can still like get done through your cash flow, or possibly you need to like you need to have enough capital before you can get those repair or outright replacement done. Then you'll be able to know what are the support you need to give to operation and maintenance planning. These are all what you stand to gain when you carry out an assessment on your facility. And that is also going to help you to inform, to help you to set up your asset register. Because you'll be able to know the condition of the asset, what are the deficiencies, what are the expected useful lifespan of that asset. These are what you stand to gain when you carry out facility condition assessment. Then why do you conduct facility condition assessment? The first reason why you conduct is it gives you a short-term financial need. So while you conduct that assessment, you summarize it, you know what are the capital projects out of them, and what are more or less like operational cost that is going to fall under your operational cost. So it helps you to determine your short-term financial need, maybe 1 month financial need, quarterly financial need, or annual financial need. Then it also helps you to determine what we call competitive need. Then you have long-term mandate, building stewardship, and strategic alignment. So with your condition assessment, you'll be able to set up your own strategic needs. And when you set up your strategic plan, it must be in alignment with your company mission and company mission and visions. And it must be in line with your company policies and strategic goals. So what are the objectives for facility condition assessment? 1, asset register and inventory. You'll be able to determine your asset register. Then 2, it also helps you to prepare engineering description, specification for a system and a component. For instance, your generator, what are those engineering descriptions you are going to prepare for your generator? You'll be able to determine what is the load of that, what is the size of that generator. Is it a 250 kVA? Is it a 3-phase generator or a single-phase generator? Then, what is the total load that that generator can take? Maybe 360 kW, or maybe you have your prime power is 200 kVA. Then the size of the generator, then the year the generator is being made, what's the serial number, model number. These are all technical details you can get when you conduct assessment on that generator. Then it also helps you to identify and record existing condition of the component. So you know what is the current condition of each of the assets in that facility. It helps you to also factor out what is the remaining useful life of that asset. Then it also helps you to prepare cost estimates related to the maintenance, repair, rehabilitation, or renewal of the system. So with all your assessment, you can easily juxtapose and determine which one you are going to like focus on. Are you focusing on maintenance? Are you focusing on repair? Are you doing what we call a complete rehabilitation or complete overhaul of that asset or that facility? Or you are doing what we call the renewal maintenance system? Then with your assessment, you can prioritize. Sorry for the little break in transmission. So you can also easily prioritize the component that is due for what? Outright maintenance. The one that you can know that, okay, it can still be repaired and it will still serve the purpose that it's been designed for. Then you'll be able to determine which one is meant for outright replacement or renewal. So these are what your condition assessment will inform you about. Then you can also compare the cost of the system and component remediation versus the cost of facility replacement. So you can weigh the price of renewal and the price of replacement. If the price of renewal is still okay, then you can go ahead. But your assessment are what is going to inform, give you a vital information on how to determine which one to repair and which one to go for outright replacement. These are all what you stand to gain when you. Please, can that person mute his speaker, please? These are what you stand to gain when you conduct assessment in your facility. So you'll be able to determine the condition of that facility, if that facility is actually due for remedial work, or is due for rehabilitation, or is due for what we call overhauling, or you can carry out some certain repair and it still serve, or then at the same time, you are going to determine what are the costing aspect of it. Is it cost effective for you to do the repair or a natural replacement? Then when you do your assessment, you'll be able to know which of the assets are vital to your operation, which of the assets are critical, which are the assets you can use, you can spend money on that you know it will going to serve you and it is actually required for your operation as far as that facility is concerned. Then it's also going to help you to determine the amount of money you are going to put down for operation and maintenance and the amount of money you'll be needing for capital projects in the nearest future. And it also helps you to determine what are the actual assets that are due for complete outright replacement. So you can easily budget, you can easily plan your capital expenditure, and you can easily plan your operational expenditure. These are all what you stand to gain when you carry out a facility condition assessment. And what are the facility condition assessment elements? The building interior element, and what form your building interior, your furniture fitting, your WC, your plumbing fittings, your mechanical fitting, your electrical systems, which are your low voltage system. You are talking about your distribution board, your LV panel, that is low voltage panel, where you have your changeover system, your metering system. Then you talk about your communication system, your IT. These are all your building interior. You talk about your window blinds, your air conditioning, which is the indoor unit, outdoor unit. These are all your building interiors. Then your civil site development and amenity. You're talking about your pavement. You're talking about your entrances and your sidewalk. This form your transportation system in your facility. Then your document review. And what are those your documents that you are trying to review? Your drawing, your specification, your report, and all your record. And what are all those your record? Your checklist, either your daily checklist, your weekly checklist, your monthly checklist, your quarterly checklist, and your maintenance plan. And what are those your maintenance plan? Your daily repair, your monthly repair, your preventive maintenance activities, quarterly, biannually, and annually. These are all your documents that you can review. And why do you review the document? You are able to remove what is actually not necessary anymore. And you can also inject what is actually required to be carried out. Then your fire protection and life safety regulation, that is your HSC, those from under your HSC. Then your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, that is MEP system. Then what are the elements of your structural structure, your foundation, your exterior walls, and all those things. Those are areas where possibly you need a structural engineer to come around to come and carry out a structural assessment of that facility. If that foundation is still okay. Possibly you are trying to like add it to your, you have a 2-story building before you want to like add another 1 or 2-story building to it. This time around, that you definitely require to get the service of a structural engineer to come and check the integrity of your foundation structure, if it could take more other level of floor. Then preliminary review of on-site observation, your production process and packaging equipment. If you are working in a process plan, this is all required. The process plan, like all this NMPC, all this beverage producing, all these breweries. So there's no how you won't talk about your production process plant, your packaging equipment, and every other thing. You need to carry out an assessment on all those elements. Then what are the results of your facility condition assessment? When you carry out your facility condition assessment, what do you actually stand to gain? So what are the results of your facility condition assessment? 1, it helps you to understand what is in your portfolio. You know what are the number of equipment, what are the number of assets you have, what are the criticality of those assets to your operation, and among those assets, which one are major, which one are critical, which one are major, which one are minor, which one among them require your 100% attention. So it helps you to understand what you have in your portfolio and the condition of each of those assets in that your facility or in your process plant. Then that is 1. Then 2, visibility into appropriate level of capital. You'll be able to determine what are the required capital that you'll be needing in the course of time for your what? Your day-to-day operation in terms of cash flow, your monthly maintenance activities, your annual maintenance activity, your quarterly maintenance activity, your spare parts storage. You'll be able to determine what are the level of capital funding for each of the building and across the whole entire facility. Then 2, 3, you'll be able to prioritize the facility capital plan. And that will also help you to align that with your organization missions and goals. You know, I've earlier mentioned it that whatsoever maintenance plan you have on ground, whatsoever facility plan you have on ground, it must, whatever strategy you want to put in place, either for assessment, either for your asset register or for your facility condition assessment, every strategy you are going to use or maintenance strategy you are going to place in place must be in line with your company or your organization mission and goal. Then you should be, it will also help you to identify deficiency and estimating the cost to correct them. And when you do the assessment, you know which one are minor, which one are critical, which one require your urgent attention. And let me use a 4-square arrangement like an example. Inside the 4-square quadrant, you have what is urgent and what is important. So when something is urgent and it's important, it requires your 100% attention. There are some that is urgent that is not what required. And there are some that are required that are not urgent. And there are some that are not urgent and not what required. So you'll be able to use the 4-square quadrant to determine which one you are going to attend to. So identification of deficiency and estimating the cost to what? To correct those what? Those deficiencies. These are what you have as a result when you conduct your facility condition assessment. And what are the benefits? 1, it improves your data. You have a lot of data at your disposal to make vital and viable business decision. Then you'll be able to define your facility problem. So at any point in time, you know what are the problems you are facing in your facility. And that helps you to what? To determine and you're going to know the best approach you are going to give to each of those challenges you are having in your facility. Then the third thing is that you stand the chance of gathering defensible data to justify your capital expenditure. So when you are actually facing management in order to get several numbers or a certain approval, you have a defensible data at your disposal. So you know the reason why you are spending a certain amount of money, the reason why that expenditure, that expense is being required. You know the reason why the money they are giving you is actually necessary. Then you are able to streamline your facility management and improve facility condition. Facility management in the sense that you know the number of manpower that you'll be requiring for certain amount of certain kind of facility exercise. You know the number of wrench time you'll be needing, and you know the reason why you'll be needing a third party to come and carry out some certain kind of facility repair maintenance in that facility. It also allows facility personnel to back that plan. You have the chance of planning ahead. And when you are planning ahead, you stand the chance of reducing the number of breakdown you are going to have. So, and when you are able to reduce the number of breakdown, you start to have a greater percentage of increase in uptime. So you have the you gain the advantage of better plan. You are able to manage and direct your work. So you are able to manage your work processes. So the number of hours you use in getting your work order approval, you get your work order signed, you get preventive maintenance plan, you get preventive maintenance schedule, and at the same time, you start thinking about spare parts. With your facility condition assessment, you'll be able to determine what are the spare parts that you'll be needing to carry out a certain maintenance activities. So you'll be able to plan ahead. Then you'll be able to prioritize short-term planning issues. So these are all the benefits of carrying out facility condition assessment. So what is the purpose? Why is it required that we need to carry out facility condition assessment? Why can't we just leave it that way? As a facility manager, why must we conduct what we call a facility condition assessment? One, it helps us to establish current repair cost. We know the actual we'll be able to have at our hand. What is the cost? What is it going to cost us to carry out certain maintenance activity within that facility? When you evaluate the cost of a deficiency, once you evaluate, you'll be able to determine cost. Then two, it also helps you to establish the current repair cost of correcting that deficiency. You have itemized, you'll be able to itemize one. Then two, how much will it cost you to rectify that deficiency? That is two. Then you'll be able to create a priority list of repair. Fine, I have 10 repairs to carry out. Out of those 10 repairs, 3 out of them are very, very critical. What is the cost of those that are critical? Which one can I just postpone? Which one can I leave for the time being and get it done maybe possibly next month? These are all what you stand to gain. Then you will also be able to establish a budget that will be successful in controlling cost. Then while the most critical deficiencies are being resolved, you can do what we call budgeting. You can budget. This month, this is how much I'm going to expend on maintenance activity. Next month, this is how much I'm going to expend on maintenance activities. This can stay while this one go. This one can go while all the other ones stay till next month, till next week. So you'll be able to plan all your maintenance activity. Which one is critical? Which one you can't do without? Then you can get what we call future cost. You can forecast what is going to be your actual cost in the nearest future. Understanding future deficiency is just as important as calculating the building current condition. When you know the building current condition, you can determine, okay, by next year, I am going to spend this so amount of money, this capital expenditure, so that I can uplift, I can facelift this estate, or this this estate, this building, or this flat. So forecast cost by breaking down a building into its individual components. How do you do that? You have a block of flats. Out of that block of flats, you have almost about 10 flats in that building block. So you can break the whole block into subheading, and that subheading becomes a what? A flat. For each of the flat, you have 3 bedroom flats. So you can start saying that, okay, flat 1, for this month, we are going to do renovation on flat 1. And once we give flat 1 out, once we have a tenant occupying flat 1 and he has already paid his renter, he has paid his renter, he has paid his service charge and every other thing, whatever money we realize that we are moving into flat 2. So with this, you can start planning and gathering money. And at the same time, you can decide, okay, out of 10 flats, let's go ahead and renovate 5. We renovate 5, whatsoever money we can recoup from that, from renting out of that 5 flats, we're going to expend that money on the remaining 5 flats so that we can have the entire flat facelift. So these are all what you can get when you have your fertility condition assessment. You can do forecasting, and you can break each of building activity down into components. Then you'll be able to establish short and long time budget. You can do your budget in terms of long time. In the next 3 years, this is what we want to spend money on. Then in every month, these are the money we'll be expending on maintenance activity. This is what you gain when you carry out your condition assessment. You'll be able to forecast. So you can forecast by estimating the life of the building system. You can also calculate the forecast cost based on their representative portion of the building total replacement value. So when you cost your building replacement value, the outright amount of money that will cost you to replace an entire building, if the cost of replacement is equivalent to the cost of repair, I think it is economically viable that you go for replacement, outright replacement. And if you look at this graph, you see that when the facility is still brand new, you stand the chance of having a lower maintenance cost. Then as the building conditions start deteriorating, your maintenance cost starts increasing. So when you have a higher maintenance cost, that means the building is actually deteriorating, which we are going to discuss in the course of this module. We're still going to discuss how to calculate what we call a fertility condition index, which you can use to determine when to actually demolish a building, or when a block of flat or a building block is actually due for an outright fit lifting, a renewal, or outright replacement. Then two, your fertility condition assessment also help you to maintain building data. And what are those building data? You'll be able to ask the current and the historical data from previous assessment. So from the previous assessment, from the current assessment, you'll be able to know what is the current, what is the historical data, and previous assessment. Then maintaining building data include a current set of typical deficiency and the best correction for them. So, and also, it's also maintaining building data help you to determine what we call life model cost analysis. And I've already explained to us yesterday what we mean by life cycle cost of any asset or any building. And when you assign a life cycle model cost to a building, that will help you to determine if that building is actually due for demolition, or that building can still be revamped, or it can be given a facelift and it will still serve the purpose, or you can also give it a facelift so that you can benchmark it with other facility around that area. And people who are into rental services are doing much of this. When you compare your facility with other facility, when you do benchmarking, with that benchmarking, it can also help you out to determine if their facilities actually require what we call a facelift. And when you do a facelift, it will also help you to determine your rent. Either you are going to jack up your rent, or possibly you tell your tenant that, okay, sorry, currently by next year we're revamping all this facility, and this is the amount of rent you are going to be paying, and this is the amount of service charge you are going to be paying. And the other purpose of facility condition assessment is that you can plan your energy efficient system. How do you do that? It also helps you to increase your energy effectiveness of the building. And what are the energy effectiveness of the building? possibly you are using all these energy consuming electric bulb before. You can start, when you do your facelifting, you can change all these energy consuming bulbs to what we call LEDs, which are what? Less energy which are consuming less energy. And you can go into, instead of using generator, you can start going to what? Green energy. And what are those your green energy? Start talking about your solar. You can go solar, or you can start talking about, instead of wasting your wind, you can go to wind energy generation and use that generation to power your entire facility. These are all what you can do by what you're saying. You go green. And when you go green, you're also saving the environment from environmental pollution, from carbon dioxide that comes from your running of your generator each time there is no power within the grid. And also, you can use your assessment to improve in your facility needs, and also provide what we call customer service, improvement in customer service. And at the same time, you can still use your planned energy efficient system to sustain your building material component in the nearest future. These are all what you gain when you do your planned energy efficient system under facility condition assessment. And what are the scope? What are the steps you take when you want to conduct your facility condition assessment? One, you do what we call site inspection. And when you are doing your site inspection, what do? You observe the general site improvement and condition of all major building systems. These are all what you observe when you visit a site to carry out inspection. And the other thing you do is you review the building document. And what are those building documents you are going to review? Your as-built drawing, and I've explained to us yesterday the difference between as-built drawing and engineering drawing. You review your as-built drawing, you review your building record, your construction document, and what are those your construction documents? Your variation document. There are documents that you sign when there are variations during the project period. Then, what are the building codes and violations? Then, you review all your maintenance record. What are the areas where you need to do improvement in terms of those records? It is those records that will inform you either you need to eliminate some of those records or you need to improve them, then how you need to amend those records. These are all the scope as the step that you take when you are performing your facility condition assessment. And production of detailed list of schedule of dilapidation. This is very, very common when you are into leasing. Review of the schedule of dilapidation is always, you have the one you carry out before you give the facility out for rental. Maybe you do leasing, 5-year lease, 10 years lease. And schedule of dilapidation, you are going to include it that in case the lessee want to do 1 or 2 demolition and design within the building, it is expected of the lessee when it's giving back that facility to make sure he return that facility back to its original position when it's giving it back. And part of that dilapidation is when you are giving it out, you itemize what we call snag list. And when you do what we call snag, it is either you that you are giving out that facility as a lease to carry out the repair of those snag, or you allow the lessee to carry out those repair and net off the cost of the repair out of his cost of what? Lease. So by the time the building is up to, the facility is up to 18 months before the expiration of that lease agreement, you are going to prepare what we call the schedule of the dilapidation at the same time. So that by the time that lease expires, you that happen to be the owner of that facility and the person that is using that facility, that is renting that facility in terms of a lease, you take a record of every item within that facility, and you know what is expected of that lessee to return back to that facility and what you are going to give back as the owner of the facility back to the lessee. So it's a schedule of the dilapidation, is a decretion of any present defect present in the building. That is why it is most of the time referred to as snag list. It is a list of the problem with the maintenance of the building. A schedule of dilapidation is prepared after a completion of a condition survey. So you carry out what we call a condition survey. It is when you carry out the condition survey, you itemize what and what are required to be carried out in that facility before a renter is being given out, before a tenant is going to occupy that facility. Tenant can go ahead and come around and tell you, before I'm going to pay for this facility, I need this door change. This also forms your list of dilapidation. I need this air conditioner replaced. I need my microwave oven replaced. Because there are some facilities that when you are renting them out, the only thing that the tenant needs you to do is to move in with only his clothes alone. The facility is already furnished, already with furniture fitting. All the bedroom is already furnished. You have the kitchen completely equipped. So when you are moving in, you are only moving in with only your car and your dresses alone. So in this kind of environment, the tenant can come around and say, sorry, I don't like this microwave oven. I need it to be replaced. I don't like this blender. I need this blender replaced. The window blinds, I don't want them. I need this color window blind. So it is going to be an agreement between the tenant and the facility owner. So the facility owner will tell the tenant, if I'm going to provide this, it is going to be at your cost. Then there's going to be an agreement. If the tenant agrees to pay for it, then the facility owner can go ahead and get it done. All this can be listed. All this can be listed, and it's going to form what we call your list of schedule of dilapidation. Then developing the cost of remedial work. These are all the scope of what? The steps of facility condition assessment. So when you are developing cost of remedial work, how do you do that? You are estimating the cost to correct the backlog of deferred maintenance. So when you do your facility condition assessment and you itemize all the maintenance activities that ought to have been carried out that have been either abandoned or deferred either because of lack of capital or because of lack of manpower or based on any reason best known to the person that have been maintaining the facility before. It is now easier for you when you carry out the assessment to know that these are the estimation, these are the costs you are going to incur in getting all this backlog done before you can take over. It's just like, for instance, you are taking over 1004 estates as a new facility manager. It is expedient, it is required of you as a facility manager. It is ethics of the profession that you must carry out what we call facility condition assessment. And why? Because you don't want to incur liability. So when you carry out this assessment, you'll be able to know area where there are required a lot of maintenance. So it is easier for you to tell the facility owner that if I am going to take over this facility as a facility manager to maintain this facility for you, we need this and this and this to be put in place. So along the line, the facility owner can tell you, okay, go ahead, give me cost, get it done while I paid you. Or they can tell you that I'm going to get my own engineer, get this thing fixed while I hand it over to you. Even after getting it done, you still need to do what we call condition assessment again to ascertain that all what you have itemized are being done and they are being done to satisfaction. Because once you put your pen on paper and you sign the agreement, it becomes binding. This is an oversight. We forget to itemize this. No, it's not possible anymore. Because once you sign the agreement, it becomes binding. Then you'll be able to arrive at a defensible estimate of reinvestment cost. These are the steps you take. Then the other step is that you identify area of improvement. When you conduct your facility condition assessment, you must identify what are the area where there is need for what? Improvement. Identify any opportunity for what? Adaptation and improvement to the facility. This is very, very required. These are the steps you are going to take when you want to carry out your facility condition assessment. Then, part of the step is you must evaluate the current condition of every asset within that process plant, within that facility, within that estate. So, and when you want to evaluate the current condition, you have to evaluate the effective age of every asset, one. You must estimate the remaining useful life for any of the assets. Then, 2, 3, you must be able to forecast the future life cycle renewal of the assets as they reach the end of their useful lives, useful service life. Then, when you are evaluating current condition of the asset, you must be able to provide a benchmark of the current performance of the building. You must be able to benchmark the building with other buildings around that area, most especially if you are into rental services, or possibly you are into lettable area service. You must be able to evaluate current condition of your asset, and when you evaluate, that your evaluation must be able to provide you a benchmark of the current performance of the building. It's very, very key. Then, when you want to carry out a facility condition assessment, what are the processes? How do you go by it? 1, you must design the assessment. Let me take a generator for an example. How do you design an assessment for generator? 1, you must determine assessment scope. What is your scope? Select team, mobilization of the team, plan this inspection, arrange the site assets. So let's take a generator for an example. How do you design the assessment? Before you inspect that generator, you must have a pre-knowledge of what you are actually going to inspect in that generator. And your pre-knowledge of what you actually want to inspect on that generator will inform you if it is something you can do as a facility manager, or you need the expert of a third party. Expert of a third party in the sense that maybe you need an expert in generator to come and help you in carrying out the assessment. And when you want the expert to carry out the assessment, you need to draw, you need to design what are the items that you need the expert to assess in that generator and provide a report for you. And it is that report you are going to work on. So your knowledge about what you want to achieve in that assessment, in that survey, will inform you how your assessment is going to be designed. So if you want to carry out a survey or an assessment on the generator, 1, you want to check what is the size of that generator. What is the make of that generator? What is the capacity of that generator? Then you need a third party to tell you what is the condition of the engine, because you might not be privy to open a complete entire engine to know what is even inside. Even if at all you open it, it might not even actually tell you the condition of the generator. But an expert in that area can easily run the generator for some certain period of time, put generator on load, and tell you what is the certain condition of that generator. And possibly, you could conduct what we call oil analysis. You can take a sample of the engine oil, take it to the lab, conduct what we call oil analysis. The oil analysis will tell you what are the condition of the engine oil. What is the quantity of the foreign material that is inside that oil? It will be able to tell you if the piston and rings of that generator are already wearing out. Then you'll be able to know what is the number of hours the generator has already run. How many repairs have been carried out. These are all what you are going to be tabled in when you are designing your assessment, or when you want to carry out a survey on a particular generator. Then you'll be able to select assessment team. Who are the assessment team? A generator expert can form part of the assessment team. Then you mobilize them. Possibly the guy is going to tell you, I'm collecting 50,000 to carry out the assessment for you. That is your team. Then you plan the inspection. When will the inspection be carried out? Are you carrying it out in the morning? Are you carrying it out in the afternoon? Or you are carrying it out at night? Or you are taking a facility for the first time? You need to carry out an assessment on the plumbing fitting. You need the expert of a plumber. And for the fact that you need the expert of a plumber, what exactly are the end results you want to achieve in carrying out that survey? You're going to your pre-knowledge of the output you want, will tell you what you actually need to design for the plumber. And once the plumber is going, are they carrying out that inspection early in the morning? Is it going to be in the afternoon? Or when you want to carry out a roof assessment cannot be carried out in the afternoon when the whole interior part of the roof is already what? Heated up. So those kind of tasks can be done in the morning. That's one. You design the assessment. Then two, you collect the data. How do you do? Prepare inspection form, which you have already designed. Conduct the inspection, prepare finding and conclusion report. What is going to form your report? Let me go back to the issue of that generator. When an expert inspects your generator, what are you expecting? You want to know the size of the generator. You want to know the condition of the generator. How many hours has the generator run? How many repair work has been carried on that generator? How many overhauling has been done? Have they done overhauling? No, it has not been overhauled. How many hours has the generator run? It has run 5,000 hours. Then, what is the condition of the battery? What is the condition of how often is the generator being serviced? Do they allow the generator to overdue before they service it? Do they maintain the 200 service hour or 250 running hour service hour? These are all the data you collate. When you collate all this data, what do you do with the data? You summarize all the survey reports. When you summarize them, you evaluate the inspection, you prepare a summary report, you compile the data, then those ones that are required for after replacement, you start gathering quotation on how much is the new one. The one that require repair, you get the required vendor to go and assess and get you a quotation. You can send like 3 or 4 vendors so that you can benchmark the cost and pick the best cost of repair. So you are good. These are all what is going to inform your summary. Taking an air condition, for instance, when the inspection was carried out, it was found out that the compressor is bad. How much is the cost of a compressor? What is the size of the compressor? How are you going to get a new compressor? Who is going to be your supplier? These are what you are going to. These are what is going to form your what? Your report. And phase 4, you present your findings, communicate your finding, select your final report, design your presentation, gain support from the management. Your presentation, how you present your report, will determine how you are going to gain the support of the management. And the support, when you gain the support of the management, that is going to determine the approval you are going to get to go ahead and carry out any remedial work, any repair work, any renovation work, any rehabilitation work, any revamp work, any facelifting work. Then it is only when you get the approval you can put the assessment to work. When you don't get the approval, you can't go ahead and carry out a single bit of what? Of assessment or repair work. Then what are the instruments you can use when you want to carry out your facility condition assessment? You need the measuring devices. It could be as small as a measuring 3-meter tape. You need your data capturing devices or your data sheet. You need camera. You need to take as many as possible photographs. You need your protective devices, your safety shoe, your professional protective devices. There could be some area where you need your nose guard, your hair muffler. These are all your protective devices that you need. And any other equipment that you think is deemed necessary. And what do you do when you do your facility condition assessment data collection technique? Visual review of representative sample, your user survey, your interview, your document review, your satisfaction survey. So there are some areas where you can gather your data collection. You can carry out what we call a visual inspection. You can design a survey form, give it to all the end users and let them provide your what? Provide you with your data. You can conduct interview, meet with the end user one by one, see them, interview them, gather necessary information from them. Then when you do that, you review your document and you pick up the satisfaction survey out of all your survey that you have carried out. Then you can also get your data from your facility staff if you interview them, or any operator, most especially in your process plant. The operator will tell you that, sir, this conveyor belt always have issue every 3 months. By the time you interview the end users, you'll be able to draw up a lot of vital information. Your contract interviews, your disruptive testing on the asset. We have what we call non-disruptive testing that you can carry out on your assets. You can do what we call condition monitoring. And your condition monitoring will tell you that a breakdown is about to happen, and it will inform you before your breakdown is generated into what we call functional failure. Then you'll be able to select an appropriate investment formula for calculating of maintenance budget. So these are all what you can do when you are doing your, the process you can follow when you are doing your facility condition assessment. This is an example of a facility condition assessment checklist that you can design. There is no any world-class standard for facility condition assessments checklist. The output, what you actually want to gain from that assessment, will inform how you are going to design your checklist. You can see the one on my slideshow is telling you about electrical system. And what are those electrical systems? Your lighting system, your distribution board, and your electrical fitting. Your security and safety system, you have fire alarm, fire hosiery, your CCTV camera, and your biometric system. These are all examples of your what? Facility condition assessment checklist. And these are other one also. You can see the output that the facility manager wants to achieve here. That is what form is subheadings on what you actually want to achieve. You can see on the subheading, it has what we call asset location, the category of the asset, the description of the asset, the condition of the asset, the description of the defect, the assessment condition, major and minor, then recommendation. You can even increase your own and include what we call location of the asset. You can put the commissioning date, what is the cost of procurement, what is the cost of repair. These are all what can form your subheading when you are designing your facility condition checklist. And if you look at this, let's look at item number 1 there. You can see the first place that they assess is the accounting office. And what are the category of item asset in that place? Electrical system. What is that electrical system? Ceiling mounted fitting. What is the condition? The condition is still fair. What is the defect? Current defect on that ceiling mounted fitting. They have a broken fitting cover. Is it a major or minor condition? It's minor. Then what is the recommendation? Replacement of the fitting. This is an example of a facility condition assessment checklist. There are other ones. I think at the end of this class, Barakat is going to send to you another design again, another soft copy of the soft copy of another design facility condition checklist that has already been designed. But you can still improve on that one. But that doesn't mean that is the standard one. There's no any standard checklist in the world. You can design your own according to the output of what you want. So we're going to have a 5-minute short break. So when we come back after that 5 minutes, we'll continue from level of facility condition assessment. And those levels include, you have driven by assessment, you have top down or bottom up. So when we come back, we're going to do that. Thank you very much. Let's have a 5-minute break. We're going by 6:02. We come back 6:07. Yeah, welcome back from break. Can you all hear me clearly? I want to confirm if you can all clearly hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, let's go.
you.
Thank you very much. So let's move to our speakers. So we've discussed the process, we've discussed the scope, and we discussed what are the benefits of FCA and every other thing. So now we're moving to level of FCA. The first level is facility condition assessment, drive-by assessment, or top-down assessment. Top-down assessment is a high-level review that focuses primarily on what? On the system level. And this one pays less detail, is being applied to the condition of individual asset or component. Let me just take us back to the first two, the last three slides. This checklist on my slide is an example of top-down assessment. It only takes the facility in form of system-wise. You can see what you have here is electrical system, security system, mechanical system, power system, building fabrics, and other systems. That is top-down approach of facility condition assessment, taking the entire facility in terms of system-wise. But when you look at this other checklist, this is different from the last that I showed you, which is this. So the top-down doesn't pay attention to every asset. It's based the assessment on system-wise. Then two, it is less detailed compared to the other method. So less detail applied to the condition of the individual asset or component. Then a method of collecting data by approaching the facility at the system level. That is top-down assessment method. And it will only provide a general statement about the projected concern associated with each system. It's not itemizing every asset in that facility one by one. It's just basing everything in terms of a system. Roofing system, no leakage, that's all. Then two, we have what we call walkthrough assessment. The first one is top-down assessment. The second thing is walkthrough assessment. The walkthrough and top-down are almost related. It's a colloquial expression for mid-range level of assessment on a 3-tier scale. Walkthrough is just like a middle assessment between top-down and crawl-through. When you walk through, it's just like, let me take 1,000 estates as an example. If I'm conducting a walkthrough, I will just come in from the main entrance gate, walk through all the road, and I will itemize all the defects that I have. Then I'll go through the block. I will only itemize. But that is different from when I get a structural engineer to come and carry out what we call integrity test on that facility. When I'm walking through, my walking through doesn't determine the integrity of that facility. I can only itemize area where I have moisture on the building, area where I have cracked walls, area where I have plumbing leakages. But I could have structural defect, which I won't know. That is what walkthrough is all about. It includes on-site visual assessment to collect empirical data on the condition of the asset. That is walkthrough. But when you do what we call crawl through, it's taken from the word crawl. When you crawl, that means it's slowly. It is not something that you do in a rush. It's a colloquial expression for highest level of assessment in a 3-tier scale. Then two, it is a rigorous assessment of the asset that is carried out as a component level assessment or bottom-up assessment in order to gather empirical data. Bottom-up in the sense that you check every asset in that facility one by one. When you have 5 chairs inside a room, you itemize each of the chair one by one. Chair number 1, the castor is bad. The backrest is not good. Chair number 2, room number 1, the armrests are bad. Castor is okay. The seat leather is bad. So you are picking every asset one by one, and you are bringing up every issues that asset is having. That is example of a crawl through. I use the 1004 estates as an example. I said, when you do what we call walkthrough will not tell you structural integrity of that building. Walkthrough will not tell you if a certain part of the roof is failing. But when you do what we call crawl through, you will be able to itemize every detail in that facility. The assessment team spend more time on the field observing what are the issues itemized with that facility. That is the difference between your normal top-down assessment, your walkthrough assessment, and your crawl-through assessment. The output, the data you want to collect will actually inform which of these assessments you can use. It's not that the three of them are not good. The three of them are good. They both have advantage and disadvantage. But the level of the output will inform which one you are going to employ out of the three of them. Then crawl-through assessment. What is the advantage of crawl-through? You start to gain detailed information, then actionable data. What is the disadvantage? It is expensive, because at times it will require you to get the service of a third party. It is time consuming. These are what you can do for completely more than even 1 month at times. And it may not be necessary for all assets at times. So that is advantage and disadvantage of what? Crawl-through. Then this will bring us to what we call facility performance evaluation. So what is facility performance evaluation? This more or less like, let me take, which other estate do I even know within the island? Because I wouldn't want people to start telling me, why am I just saying 1004 estates, 1004 estates all the time? So it's just like you're trying to, like, let me use ShopRite as an example. You know, ShopRite, you have a lot of tenants you're dealing with, and let me use City Mall as an example also. When you evaluate your performance as a facility manager in that facility, it helps you to determine area where you're lagging behind in terms of service provide, in terms of the services you're providing for the occupant of that facility. It also helps you to determine where are the area where you need improvement. Sorry, can you let me get the water? Where area where you need improvement. And facility condition performance evaluation is done after what we call it's like what we call post-occupancy evaluation. It is not done before occupancy. It's an extension of what had been called post-occupancy evaluation. Facility performance evaluation is a condition process of systematic evaluating. So when you conduct facility condition assessment, it is more or less like a one-often assessment. And you always do that before you take over a facility. But facility performance evaluation is what you can be doing on a monthly interval, on a 2-month interval, on an annual interval, on a yearly interval, because you want to know how your facility is performing in terms of providing services for end users. Then you do the performance evaluation to know the effectiveness of one or more aspects of the building relating to issues as accessibility, aesthetics, cost effectiveness, functionality of every system in that facility, and how productive that facility is. Then you'll be able to know, you can be able to grade yourself in terms of security level. Is your facility providing 100% facility security? Is your facility 100% safe? Is your facility, are you maintaining sustainability in your facility? These are information you can use to score yourself in terms of when you perform what you call facility condition and facility performance evaluation. And that's the reason why it's different from facility condition assessment. Assessment, you do it before you take over a facility. Evaluation is a continuous. you are evaluating your performance as a facility manager, as a facility service provider, to know if you are giving your end user the right service that you promised them. That is what performance evaluation does. And also to better understand the impact of earlier design delivery decision on long-term efficiency, effectiveness of the building to the building end users. Then it also helps you to better understand the impact of the building delivery process and decisions on customer response, both initially and over the life cycle of that building. So you are able to determine what are the area where you are having what we call shortcoming, short performance in terms of providing service for the end user. It also helps you to extend beyond the physical assessment and including consideration of obsolescence and other shows as qualitative factors. So when any particular facility is going to obsolescence within that facility, you'll be able to determine when it is due for what an actual replacement. So, and that's all what facility performance evaluation can what informed you as a facility manager or as a service provider in terms of rent, in terms of lettable areas, and how do you conduct what you call your facility performance evaluation. So you prepare the document, what you actually want to determine. Assuming you want to rate yourself in terms of security-wise, you prepare your survey document. You report the finding of your surveys. You do what we call recommendation. Whatever they recommend, you action it. Then when you action it, you monitor. And you also review outcome of that action that you've already put in place. Assuming you want to rate yourself as a facility manager in terms of security-wise in that facility, you can do a survey, give it out to all the end user. Either you give it out to all the tenants or all the people that rent facility with their rent shops within that facility. They rate your security, and area where they complain, you put them into action. Possibly they are complaining that you are short-staffed in terms of security-wise, or there are some certain area where you still need to put security cameras. So you action it. When you action it, you monitor the action and you review. When your review tells you that you are okay with security-wise, then you can say, okay, you are performing. The outcomes are more important because they may be used as a feedback to modify or improve the next cycle of facility condition assessment. Then, what are the benefits of facility condition assessment? The short-term benefits include it's related to immediate design decision. Then, the facility maintenance and management issue. These are short-term benefits. You can be able to determine, know the area where you can quickly perform what we call a maintenance and management issue. When you need to change one or two management, you need to shuffle your staff. Then medium term, which is 3 to 5 years period benefit, which is related to generating useful information for future projects. Maybe possibly they are telling you that the current generator cannot take the entire estate. So with that, you'll be able to know, maybe you need to start planning that in the nearest 2 or 3 years, you have to have a change of generator. These are all information you stand to gain when you perform what you call facility condition evaluation. Then the long-term benefit is 10 to 25 years period. This is related to improving the long-term performance of building and to justify major expenditure of that facility. Then there are always difficulties involved in establishing a clear link among users' assessment. At times, when you do your survey among all the tenants, some tenants might be requesting for what is not tenable. Just like a tenant asking you that you need to paint the whole entire estate, that the estate is not giving an aesthetic look. There are some certain period in time that when you conduct the survey might be beyond what you can actually provide it as a facility manager immediately. Then there might be a clear link, challenge in establishing a clear link in positive outcome or the physical environment. Then two, the relationship between the facility design and facility performance evaluation is always complex and fuzzy. The reason is that the facility design and performance evaluation can be telling you that they need the road to be tarred. And the design of the facilities has already been done in terms that you use what we call interlocking. So for you to actually convince the end user that now they have to like live with what you have as interlocking, instead of outright putting an asphalt in the entire road network within the facility. So at times, to match up what your review tells you and what is actually tenable, at times it could be very fuzzy, and it could be very complex, and it could be very challenging. And at times, tenant or end user can be using you as you are just wasting their time, you are just collating, you are just sending them survey, and they provide all the detailed information, and you are not actioning it. These are some of the challenges you could be coming across when you are doing facility performance evaluation. Then, how can you conduct what we call a successful facility performance evaluation? One, develop a clear statement about what the organization wants to achieve. So let the end user that you are carrying out the survey with know the purpose of carrying out that survey. And let them understand that that survey that you are carrying out, you are going to implement it. Always try as much as possible to carry out a survey that you know that when you gather the information, you can implement. Two, the links between evaluations and stated requirements have to be explicit and easy to trace. It must be easy to trace. Your evaluation, what you're evaluating, and the requirement must be explicit. It must be easy to trace. Identify resources available to carry out your facility performance evaluation. Possibly at times, it could require you buying a ream of paper to print out the survey. Do you have that money? And at times, it may require you to use a third party to carry out that survey. Do you have that money? You must identify if you have that resources to carry out that survey. And if the resources is not available, you have to live by what you have. Then match data collation with analysis that to the available time and budget. The data you collected after you have carried out the analysis, when you have summarized the survey, you have analyzed the survey, you have your necessary data, you must ensure that you have the time to carry out that task, and also you have the monetary budget to do it. Then, determine the appropriate methodology in the sense that what you know you can carry out within a week, get it done. What you know that it can't be done within a month, you need to provide what we call a feedback to the people that provided the information that, sorry, this is all what we are planning to do. We're going to execute this week. But because of the monetary aspect of it, and because of the capital intensive nature of the project, we're going to be deploying this in a phased manner. We're going to do one this month, do another one next month. Then inform the responder, or the occupant, about the purpose of their involvement and how the data will be used. Because somebody will ask you, how does that affect me? A tenant will ask you when you want to do a survey, how does that affect me? Why do I have to do this? You need to know, let them know the value of that survey and how that survey will benefit them in the nearest future, either in the current or in the nearest future. That is the language every tenant or end user want to understand. You need to let them know. And at every point in time, you must provide what we call feedback. And as soon as you are carrying out action on those feedback, on those data you've collected, on those actions that you have already promised, you must also carry the responder along and letting them know that what you have said, what you have gathered information to do, you started executing them in a phase-wise manner, or in a monthly manner, or in a quarterly phase-wise manner. They want to know and they care to know. Then you have to establish performance goal based on the existing and as well as changing trends. Then interpret and synthesize your facility performance evaluation finding in useful way for the likely users. So don't just send the bogus engineering drawing to end user. You must let them know, go alongside with them, let them know the detail of the engineering drawing, where you want to put all those wherever. Speak a language that they understand. Make results widely available for action by different group of stakeholders. So you can pass your information to the head of tenant, or they are possibly, maybe among all the tenants, they have association. You can send information to the association that these are what you are planning to do. And you have a meeting with them, explain to them, let them see all the technical detail and whatsoever, so that they can understand that everybody will be in the same page. Then suggest way to consolidate the facility performance evaluation results and lesson learned as an organizational memory. Then develop an effective method to disseminate the consolidated data. Then a record of past projects may serve as a good justification for future facility performance evaluation. Let them know that the last time we did this is how much we spent, and this is the current price of material in the market, that the current price of material in the market has brought up the increase in our maintenance cost, or the increase in the amount of money we are going to spend on the project this time around. So these are what every service end user want to hear. So what are the benefits of evaluating your building system? One, a feedback loop to ensure you have a continuous improvement. Because your feedback will always tell you the shortcomings area. And when you know the shortcomings area, that will definitely inform the area where you need outright improvement. Then improve fit between occupants and their building. The optimization of service to suit occupants. Then the reduction of weight, space, and energy. Validation of occupants' real needs. It reduces ownership and operational expenses. Then it improves competitive advantage in the marketplace. So for most of us that are into real estate, when you conduct this kind of facility performance evaluation, you'll be able to improve on your facility, because your tenant or your estate occupant will tell you what they think is tenable in other estates where they visit or where some of their friends are living, and it's not available in their estate or in your own estate. And they will tell you this is the reason why you see that estate is even expensive than your current estate. So with that, you have a detailed information on how to do what we call improvements in your facility. Either you need to give your facility what we call a facelift. Then what are the barriers? What are the challenges you start to face when you are implementing your facility performance evaluation? Fragmented incentive and benefit with the procurement and operation processes. Lack of agreed and reliable indicator, because what the end user wants might not be what is tenable, what you have the capacity of providing as at that period in time. Potential liability for owners, because what they are requesting is huge in comparison to your current capital availability. Then exclusion from current delivery expectation. Exclusion from professional curriculum, because your technical details that you have available is not what that you can include into what they are requesting or what they want currently. So these are all the challenges you can be facing when you want to implement your facility performance evaluation. So there's generally no money set aside for performance evaluation. At times, management can tell you they don't have the money to carry out that kind of task. Then two, sometimes facility performance evaluation may require a considerable amount of time, which may not be readily available as at that period in time. Organization may not always have people with the necessary skill to conduct that facility performance evaluation. And when you don't have the necessary skill in your organization, that means you require the service of a third party. Requiring the service of a third party doesn't come free of charge. It comes at a cost. And if the organization doesn't have the money to spend at that period in time, you can defy it. But it has to be it has to be a jointly agreed deferment. So professionals often do not like to have their work judged by other professionals. So most of the time you can use other facility manager to come and assess your facility, because there are some certain things you may be overlooking that when other facility manager visits your facility, they can pinpoint to you. But the bottom line is that none of us as a facility manager want anybody to come and condemn your work as a facility manager. We don't want that, because at times, people that you ask them to come and assess your facility can go to the extent of, I've seen it, essence of telling you or giving you a bad impression about your performance in that facility, or demoralizing you. So that brings us to the end of today's module. And just like the last class we had on Wednesday, there is an assessment at the end of that class. And this also has an assessment assignment that we have to do and submit through the same portal that we'll be submitting all our assessment at the end of every module. So today we have like almost about 20 minutes to the end of today's class. So I'll be welcoming as many as possible questions. So you can just signify by raising up your hand. I'll call upon you, then you can provide your question and answer. Just give me like 1 minute. I need to get a pen. Can I have a pen? And a small jotter. Just a small piece of paper. Okay, Mr. Oluwayomi Emmanuel. So you'll be the first person to ask question in this class. So go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much. Sorry for always asking question. I have two questions.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I have two questions.
Okay,
Number one, yes.
Okay.
Number one is I need to, what's the difference and the relation between tagging and assessments? Because in tagging, in tagging, you talked about you will put everything, the warranty, the repair this thing, the dash, everything. And in assessments, I think I'm having the same thing again.
No. Let's get it right. When you assess, you only assess to know what are in your portfolio in that facility. That is the information that assessment gives you. Let me use ShopRite, the Palms shopping mall as an example. If I am a facility manager taking over that Palms ShopRite for the first time, I'm coming in as a facility manager. The first thing I'm going to carry it out is what you call assessment. And why am I carrying out assessment? I want to know every asset that Palm ShopRite has. I will segment it. In their power plants, how many generators do they have? They have 4 generators. What are the sizes of that generator? I've already itemized generator. I'll go to their water treatment plant. I will itemize every asset under that water treatment plant. I will go to every room within that Palm shopping mall. I will itemize every asset within every detail in that place. When I've already itemized every asset, then I can now determine what are the conditions of those assets that are picked one by one. And I will write those conditions down. Then, when I take over that facility, I will need to open what we call asset register for that every asset in that facility. even including as small as a counting machine is an asset. Then I have the list of that asset. I can use what I call manual tagging, or I can use a software. Manual tagging, I can say, okay, inside Palms Shopping Mall, what is the name of that mall? The name of that mall is Palms. I can use PM. If in my facility company, we have several numbers of people that we are maintaining their facility for them. We are maintaining facility for the Palms. We are maintaining facility for 1004. We are maintaining facility for Just Right. We are maintaining facility for Spa. Now, but because now I have the Palms Shopping Mall, asset in the Palms Shopping Mall, their power section, I want to give coding, which is tagging to every asset in that Palms Shopping Mall. Now, I can determine any of my coding by myself. If I want to determine generator in that Palms Shopping Mall, I'm using PM, which is Palms, and I'm using GEA, which means generator. Then the size of the generator is 200 kVA. So I have PM / GEN / 200 kVA / 0001. Because assuming we have other facility that we're maintaining that also has generator. Then let me pick out another example for Spa again. Then Spa, I can use SP for Spa. Then I'm using GEN for generator in Spa. And the generator I have in Spa is 1000 kVA. And that means I have 002. So the number of generators we are maintaining country-wise can be up to 30, which are for different clients. So when I want to do my tagging, the one in Palms, I can tag it as PM / GEA / 200 kVA / 001. That means I've already assigned a unique code to that generator. I've tagged that generator as PM GEN 200 kVA / 001. The one in Spa, I'm tagging it as SP GEN 1000 kVA / 0002. So I'm assigning a unique code. That code that I'm assigning to those generators can never be the same thing. It's a unique code. That means every generator has their code. And if I'm going to use a barcode, this is what they are going to input in that barcode. And that barcode has what we call a scanning whatever. So if I come to that generator to come and start that code, I'm going only to use my scanning machine to scan that barcode. That barcode will automatically understand that I am referring to that generator PMGEN 200 kVA 001. Physically, I might not be seeing it. It's already embedded in that code. So when I want to do my scanning, and that's the reason why at times when you see model, if you go to all this shopping mall, you buy any item, every manufacturer has what we call a unique code for all their products. So it is easier for the person that is selling to you to just use their scanning machine, scan it, and pick it up. Once they scan it, for all those, when they want to enter those items into their machine, they've already put price. They have an IT guy who is doing that. They enter into their software and they enter it alongside with price. So when you come around to buy, they scan, and that's the reason why the unique code is different for every product, even if they are the same product. If you are buying Lucozade Boost, the name of the product is Lucozade Boost, but the unique tagging on that Lucozade Boost can never be the same thing. They are different. But whoever is selling it for you, once they put the scanning machine it will generate the amount of that Lucozade boost. You won't pay the price of Lucozade boost for super yogurt. And you won't pay the price of Ovaltine for Boronto. That is the effectiveness and the advantage of your tagging. So, Mr. Emmanuel, I hope that answers your question, sir.
Very clear. Very, very clear.
Okay, sir.
Then the second one.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
The second one is a problem I'm actually facing a challenge. Is on this checklist of a thing. Checklist should be daily. Okay. I think so. Checklist should be daily because we have actually drafted a checklist.
When you are talking about checklist, no. Let's get it right. Are you talking? If you are talking about maintenance checklist, you can have a daily checklist. For instance, I am a facility manager in the Palms Shopping Mall. I have several numbers of service providers. I have people that are providing janitorial services for us. I have people that are bringing food, food vendor. I have my diesel supplier. I have my gas supplier. So if I want to do my checklist for my janitorial service provider, I can do a daily checklist. And what are those daily checklists going to involve? Is the WC properly cleaned? Is the floor properly mopped? Do I have dust on the window pane? So when I'm going there to do my checks, these are what I'm going to be ticking. Then if I have a generator, I can have a daily checklist for my generator. And what are my daily checklists? Radiator water level, engine oil level, battery water level. Is the generator condition okay? Do I have, is the generator environment clean? This can form my daily checklist. But when I'm going to carry out a facility assessment, that is if I'm taking over a facility for the first time, I have to conduct what we call facility condition assessment. I want to know what is the condition. It's just like you want to buy a car. You carry a condition assessment. You can't just buy a car like that. Even if the car is a Tokumbo car, even if the car is a brand new car, you must still assess the car. And why do you assess? You want to ensure that the condition of the car meets the current condition of a brand new car. And you want to ensure that you are not taking what we call liability. If I want to buy a Nigerian used car, I will do necessary assessment. I will assess the tire, I will assess the engine, I will assess the interior aspect of the car before I pay. Because of what? I don't want to carry what we call liability. So now, after acquiring the car, I have carried out the condition assessment, and I tell whoever is going to sell the car for me, before I can buy this car, you have to do this. You have to change all the front tire. You have to make sure you wash the engine. You have to wash the interior. And the person that is going to sell the car will tell me, sorry, if you want me to do that, I will do that. Then remove that money out of the total money you are paying for the car. Then we agreed. If he agreed that he's going to do it on his own, he can do it while I pay him the full money, the amount that we agreed to pay for the car. Then, after I have bought the car, I've taken over the car, I can now design my own checklist that every morning before I go out, I must check my tire gauge. I must check the radiator water level. I must check the engine oil. That is a checklist. But you can design an assessment checklist when you want to carry out a facility condition assessment. That is different from operational checklist. Your daily checklist fall under operational checklist, which could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be even quarterly. I hope you understand the difference now.
Yes, sir. Very, very.
Okay. So, Mr. Afis, please go ahead with your question, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Afis.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I'm quite sorry. I was on a journey. I was coming back. So I missed some areas of your explanation.
Okay.
I don't know if I will take you back a bit, where you were explaining what is walkthrough, crawl through, and what was the third one? I think top to bottom or something like that. Those terminologies.
Okay.
I didn't really grasp what you were saying at that period.
Okay.
I'm quite sorry about that, sir.
Let me use an example of a car for you, so that maybe we understand from that angle. When, assuming you want to buy a Nigerian used car, when you conduct a top-down assessment, you just like, you are inside Keke, you are passing by and you see a car, they put this bottled water on top of it that they want to sell.
Yes.
And you say, oh, I like this car, I want to buy it. That is example of a top-bottom assessment. Because you are just passing by. You only look at the aesthetic look of the car. But you don't actually conduct a thorough detail on that car.
Okay.
Then the second one is that you come down from the keke, you just walk around that car. You walk around it, you see the tire, you see everything, and you say you are okay, you want to buy. That is still an assessment. Then the third one is that you come around, you open each of the door one by one, you start the engine, you run the car, you drive the car for like 2 or 3 kilometers and come back, you match brake, you speed, you check everything and you ensure that everything is okay. And along the line, when you are coming back, you saw that the car started smoking. That informs you that something is happening with the engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the difference between a top-down assessment, a walkthrough assessment, and a crawl-through assessment.
Okay, sir. Okay, I get it, sir.
Okay,
then,
thank you very much. Okay,
one more, sir.
Okay, sir.
The second one is, I want to have a clear understanding. Maybe I like putting things in the simplest to make me understand, in the simplest form, to make me understand better. When you were talking about facility performance evaluation, to my own understanding, how I broke it down, how I could understand it to explain it, I just wanted to confirm it, sir. Are we saying that as a facility manager, you have to check yourself to look at the kind of services you are providing to end users, as
yes,
assessing your own self and the services? And
when you are conducting facility condition evaluation, you are not actually assessing yourself as a person. You are assessing the entire facility.
No, facility performance, sir. Facility performance evaluation.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, sir.
That is exactly what I'm telling you.
Okay.
When you say you are conducting facility performance evaluation, yes, you are not actually evaluating yourself as a person.
Okay.
You are getting me?
Yes, sir.
Because you as a person, you represent your facility company. Assuming the Palm Shopping Complex gave the whole facility, their facility to your company to maintain. And in that facility, you have a lot of tenants. You have a lot of people that are occupying shops in the Palm Shopping Mall. You are providing power service for them, one. You are providing HVAC. This is part of your service, right? You are providing security.
Yes, sir.
And your security provision include car park. It's not that the shoppers have to park their car by the road. They have to park within the facility.
Yes, sir.
Then you are providing communication.
Okay.
You are providing safety. Now, you have a lot of services you are providing for end user within that place, for occupants of that facility.
Yes, sir.
Then, assuming the shoppers get to the toilet, because for that kind of environment, you have a central convenience that everybody is using together.
Yes.
shoppers get to the toilet and the whole toilet is messed up, it's smelling, there's no water to flush and whatever. You will definitely see that people will start complaining. And that is giving, and when people want to evaluate your facility, how do you think they will rate you? Poor, right?
Yes.
But before you allow people to be rating you themselves, you do what we call evaluation, like on a quarterly basis. You can make it a monthly basis. You can make it a quarterly basis. You review your security system.
Okay.
Give a survey to all the tenants or all the occupiers of shops in that place.
Yes, sir.
And part of the question you are asking is that, was there any stolen item in your shop last month? The person will say no. When everybody within that shop right tells you that they didn't lose a single product of what they are selling last month, that means in terms of stealing, for every tenant, you have 100%. Then assuming part of the survey says that, was any shopper lost a car? There's no any report of stolen car last month, or let's assume that throughout the whole month, you have just only one car stolen. And that will inform you there is a security gap along the line, right?
Yes.
Then you start asking, there is something we call under probability distribution. You have what we call pie chart, you have bar chart, you have Weibull distribution, you have what we call Pareto principle, you have what we call fishbone theory, and you have what 5 whys. Under 5 whys, what you are using 5 whys to do is that you want to determine what we call root cause analysis, what actually caused the problem. Now somebody lost his car in that facility last month. How was that car lost? Was it the fault from the owner of the car? Maybe the owner of the car didn't load the car. Even if the owner of the car didn't load the car, how does the car move out of that facility? What is the function of the security that is parading? What has happened to all your CCTV camera? Then how does that car move out of your gate? That will inform what are the other areas you need to improve in terms of your security. But if you don't carry out what we call facility condition as performance evaluation, you might not know.
Okay.
You might not know the area where you are lagging behind in terms of security.
Okay.
If you don't carry out your facility condition evaluation, you might not know that the water that people are using to wash the toilet and they are using to wash their hand is smelling chlorine. But you'll be thinking that you are providing water. And if you don't carry out that evaluation, you know at times evaluation can even tell you that you are billing the end user high in terms of gas supply. Because they will tell you that in other facility, this is the amount that they are charging for per kilowatt hour in terms of power provision. And evaluation will also help you to let you know that in some other facility, they are getting what they call 24-hour power supply. But there is eruption in your own power supply. That is all the information you can gain when you are performing, when you conduct what we call facility condition evaluation, performance evaluation.
Okay. It's clear now, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, Mr. Kazim, go ahead with your question,
Hello,
sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr.
Thank you for
Kazim.
taking your time to explain the details to us. Please, sir, I have 2 issues. So I only want to know where I'm getting it wrong. And so let me start from the first one.
Okay, sir, go ahead,
If you are getting a quote for a repair work from different vendors,
okay, sir,
and the management wants you to invite like 2 or 3 vendors so you can compare their cost.
yes.
Whereas these vendors, maybe they are requesting, or we need to pay them for coming to do the inspection for us and give us a quotation. So how will I get the management to buy into it? Because when you call a vendor to come and give you a quote for a repair work, and maybe you didn't give him the work. The next time if you call him, the person might not want to come for that inspection. So I really want to know how to handle that with the management. Number one. Number two, something happened today. We used to service ACs. So, and this particular, so when it's time, I send message to them for the servicing. After we are done, I send email also that this thing has been done. Please let me know if you have any issue or any area that you are not satisfied with. Let me know. So today, I sent another message that these ACs are due for servicing. So one of the residents now replied that your AC servicing is poor. So though I requested to meet with the person, I say maybe tomorrow I should come and see. So I want to know maybe if there's something I've done wrong or how I should prepare so that when I meet him, I will know where to do. Because I'm still taking the blame on me that maybe there is a lack of communication or there is a communication gap that is bringing this issue out like this. So those are my challenges.
Okay, Mr. Kazim. Let me just answer the first question first. There are some, we have several numbers of millions of contractors outside who provided services in one or two areas for us. One, the first thing you do, the first thing that most company does is that they have all their contractor registered. They ask contractor to come and register with them. They have all their contractor registers. And when they want to do any repair work in that area, they ask all their contractor to assess and quote. So once you have your contractor registered, even if at all you don't give that job to that contractor, that doesn't signify that subsequently you won't give out job to that contractor. What you're actually trying to do is you don't want to monopolize that work and you want to enjoy what we call cost benefit. That is one. Then two, even if at all you don't have all your contracts registered, you can ask contract. The only thing you have to try to make sure you avoid is that don't allow two contractors to meet on a site at the same time. Schedule them for inspection differently. And don't let any contractor have the impression that you have somebody else that's already gone to assess that work. Let everybody go separately, provide their quotation separately, review negotiate with them separately, review the quotation, and at the same time, if it happens to be a contractor that is working for you for the first time, you can ask them, that kind of contractor, if he has handled that kind of work for another company before. And if he said yes, you can ask him to get a reference letter from that company. If you get a reference letter, reference letter from that company, pick a number out of that letterheaded paper, call somebody from that company and confirm if the guy has actually done that kind of work and if that company can vouch for that kind of contractor. It's possible, you can do that. And most of the time when you get your contractor registered, they don't always have an impression that you don't give them job. No, because they know they've already registered with you, and one way or the other, you're definitely going to give them job one day. And that's the reason why you need to keep having pool of contractor, because at times when you don't enjoy the service being provided by the current contractor, you can lay him off and get somebody else to do the job. Then on the air conditioning you are talking about, if you are actually the one doing the servicing yourself, which I believe you have people who are actually doing the service for you. Yes, Mr. Kazim, do you have people who are doing the servicing for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have third party that is handling your AC servicing for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will advise you try as much as possible to listen to that client, that tenant that is complaining about the poor servicing of the AC. It could be from poor supervision. One, it could be getting the servicing done at the odd hour, at the wrong time. Then it could be when they carry out the servicing, they leave the whole environment messed up and the occupant has to be the one that will be doing the cleaning up. So the first thing you need to do is that meet up with the tenant, ask him the reason behind his complaint. And I can assure you, he will open up to you. Then you'll be able to like communicate that to your third party who is providing the servicing for you. And if the complaint is becoming very often and becoming very consistent, you can do what we call, you can reduce, if you have given them 10 number of AC to manage, you can reduce it to 8. Give 2 to another vendor. I can show you that new vendor that is coming in with, because he wants more of air condition from you, he will perform better. Then you can try to like make it open. Don't put all your egg in one basket. Have like 2 or 3 contractors who are maintaining your air condition. So you'll be able to know who is actually giving you the best service and who is not giving you the best service. So whoever is not giving you the best service, lay him off, get somebody else. Then possibly, maybe your agreement, maybe the scope of work in your agreement is not well detailed. If a third service provider discover a shortcoming in your agreement, you can take advantage of that. So go and review your agreement back and check what is in the scope of work, what is expected of that AC service provider to do. So you'll be able to understand if that person is cutting corner. Because the reason why I'm paying for servicing in my air condition is because I want to maximize cooling. It is not the equipment that I'm paying money for. It is the cooling that the equipment is providing. That is what I'm paying for. And if you tell me you service my air condition and I'm not getting the cooling at the required time, then you are not doing your job. And if it is every time there is water leakage every now and then you are not doing your job. I will complain. Because I'm not paying you, I'm not paying that air condition to be giving me water. I'm paying money for that air condition to be giving me cooling. Or when the consistency of breakdown is becoming often, that means that service provider doesn't know his job. So you need to meet up with the client, meet up with that tenant, understand his grievance, understand the exact reason why he's complaining. And when you have 3 tenants complain about a single service provider, think twice. I hope that answer your question, Mr. Kazim.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope I've answered the 2 questions.
Yes, sir. I'm fine with the response.
Okay, thank you very much. So more question, please. Okay. In the absence of no any other question, we're trying to bring today's class to an end. Oh, okay. Madam Florence, please go ahead, ma.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam Florence.
Evening, sir. Okay, just a quick one.
Okay, ma'am.
The estates which I work with, we have a facility company, but it's more like they are not performing. So we are into real estate, the developer we develop. So we are thinking of running our own facility company, but we usually give clients what we call 6 months warranty before the proper, warranty goes to the facility company. So right now, how would I balance this? You are running the 6 months facility with the clients, as in the 6 months warranty with them. Then after the 6 months, you now need to go back to the proper facility thing you need to do with them. So how would what kind of register or what kind of software would I use to like generate this? This is 6 months warranty and this is the proper facility services you are meant to give to them. So I'm kind of in a fix right now.
Okay. It is very, very good if you want to venture into maintaining your facility yourself.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to do is, in that facility, you have, because part of the essential services you are providing for that estate is power. Then you talk about water, you talk about HVACs, and all those stuff. So that means that will require you to have a team. It is either you decide either you want to do the facility service providing that facility for them either in-house or you want to contract it out. Contract it out in the sense that all the third-party service providers are still reporting to you. Like you get somebody who is in charge of maintaining your air condition for you. They provide service to the client, but you are the one that they are providing the service on your behalf. They report to you and they don't report to each and every tenant in that estate. That is one. Okay. Then, if you are taking over the complete facility, that means it's going to be forming part of your agreement. Once any tenant is coming in, he's going to enjoy free facility for 6 months, which is during the warranty period.
Yes.
And what you are going to state in the agreement, what that warranty actually covers, which include plumbing system, the roofing system, the electrical system, but warranty doesn't cover power because you are providing power at a cost. I hope you are getting there.
Yes, I am.
Now, you let them know part of the agreement is that after the expiration of the 6 months, they cannot allow anybody, any external vendor, come and work in their facility. It can only be your staff alone. So that means you have to develop a staff who is going to be completely in charge of your power plant.
Okay. You
need to have a staff who is going to be an electrical guy. You can design their job description for them.
Descriptions, okay.
You are going to have a staff who is completely a professional plumber. You are going to have a staff who is completely an HVAC expert. All of them report to you. Then you are going to definitely have a standby staff that will be working during the day and that will be working during the night.
The night, okay.
So that these are all your team. They report to you. So you don't allow any external vendor to come and work in that facility except your own registered vendor. So when there is need in any of the flats, they have water leakage. You get your plumber to go and assess that water leakage, and your plumber comes to you that the leakage is inside the toilet. Then you ask your plumber, what do I need to do? Then you are going to design what we call work request form.
Okay.
So it is now necessary, it is now required of your plumber to fill that work request form. He brings that work request form to you with the detail of the material that I needed to use and the cost. And you tell him, sorry, this is the amount of money that we will spend to fix this thing. You sign it, you give the money to the plumber get the material, he go back to that flat, fix that thing, and also you get what we call job completion form because the end user must sign that the plumber has done that job satisfactorily.
Okay.
Then this is what is going to be forming your document. Then every flat must have a file that whatsoever repair work that is carried out in that flat enter into that file. And anytime, any day, you can bring out that file to calculate the amount of money you have spent on plumbing, on electrical, on furniture fitting, on changing ties and everything. So then that one will inform you who is actually not doing the right job among all your team.
Okay.
Then you'll be able to call each of them, sorry, my dear plumber, why is it that every time we'll be changing tap inside this inside that flat? So if you actually want to take over the facility yourself, it is possible, but you will definitely need to form a team of facility. Then you might not be able to be on site 24 hours. You need to have somebody that will call a facility manager, a facility supervisor.
Okay.
Because you are setting up a team, you are going to have an accountant who is going to be your staff. You're going to be you're going to have a human resources manager who is going to be employing people for you.
Okay.
And if you don't want to do that, you can contract that out. Then,
Okay.
if you now want to automate your facility management, you can get a facility manager, computer-aided facility management software. There are several numbers of software in the market you can use. But the output that you want to derive, the information you want to be using, that you want that thing to provide for you, will determine the type of software you are going to use.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question, ma'am.
Perfectly, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
You're much welcome, ma'am. So do we still have any other question? So in the absence of no question, we're calling today's class a day. At this point, I'll be drawing up the curtain. So let me say good night to everybody.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Okay, see you guys on Monday when we shall be dealing with plumbing, sewage treatment plant, and water treatment plant.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good night, and do have a lovely night. Thank you, Auntie Paradise.